misunderstanding of how genocide works. I've discussed this in the past. Genocide is not an event that just happens out of nowhere. Genocide is an event that is built up to. You work your way up to it. When you constantly have a government that keeps failing and yet blames one group for all of those failures, when you constantly have a nation where the majority of the people are suffering, and you have this government that is consistently saying, well, it's this group's fault that you are suffering, what you're doing in the minds of the people is you're creating a problem that they can very clearly see is happening in their lives, and you're giving them the way out, right? You're telling them that if it wasn't for these people, we would not be suffering the way that we are. And then you couple that with things like farm murders. And I saw this tweet this morning from Penio, the Black Pen, that puts out this question that says there's 60 farm murders, 3,900 women being killed, 1,000 children, over 20,000 men are being killed. But why do we only ever hear about farmers and men and women, but never about all of the other murders? And to that, I would say it's because you're only looking at raw numbers. You're not looking at the actual per capita data, which is what you should be looking at in order to get a real sense of what is really happening in the country. And when you do, based on per capita, you find that white farmers in South Africa are more likely to be murdered than literally every other group, including the police. That is a scary statistic. So with all of this criticism that we're levying against the government, with everyone now sort of attacking the ANC, Donald Trump attacking the ANC, you have world leaders pulling out of the G20 for various reasons. Some of it I do think is them just not having respect for South Africa or the ANC. The pressure is starting to build. And now we're starting to see a new trend sort of making its way onto social media in South Africa. And I'll start just with this one. And again, there are hundreds of posts, but I'll take the posts from the people that are most prevalent in this space.